I think the circumstances for why we're picking in, why our first pick, at least as of today, is in the third round are different. Last year, we felt compelled to move back because we liked the group of players, obviously starting with Martin in that range of the draft, and we thought we were able to pick up additional assets that that would help us from a volume perspective with that draft. And this year we were opportunistic at the wide receiver position. I can't say that like we went into this season saying that, hey, we weren't going to, or into this offseason saying that we were going to have a second round pick. I can't say thought that even last year. So maybe the learning, so to speak, is just about remaining flexible and open-minded as things develop, because we want to be organized and have a plan moving forward, but plans change, and it never goes 100% according to plan. And if you don't have enough flexibility or ability to pivot, you can't be too dogmatic and too stubborn, because then you're going to be in a tough spot.
We had trades during the previous drafts. How much of that is like, this is how we want to run the draft, and how much of it is you just made a call or got a call and it came together?
Honestly, it's a little bit of a mix, with both. There have been certain points where we've thought, based on what we anticipated the board to look like, where we might have been looking for an escape hatch, or been maybe interested in trading up. But there are plenty of other situations where it's like, okay, we have a player that we like, and then you get a call a couple picks away, or on Friday or Saturday morning or early afternoon, it's like, hey, here's an opportunity that we had discussed in generalities when we were doing our strategy planning, but we didn't necessarily anticipate would actually come available to us, and then you consider it a little bit differently.
But given the state of the roster, do you think you're more inclined to trade up from like number 74 than you would be perhaps with a different state of your roster?
It's a good question, Scott. I think it's more situationally dependent on how the board falls, quite honestly, and then ultimately what's the acquisition cost to move up from 74 to the third pick in the draft, something like that. But I wouldn't say that there's a hard and fast rule, but generally speaking, because we look at the draft more through a long-term lens, we probably in general would be more apt to move back than necessarily move up. But I wouldn't say that we would be exclusively tied to that decision-making thought process.
With last year,